Hello, welcome back to Some Guys Lessons. And as you can see, I've kind of changed up the format here since my last videos. Finally got my life together and put up a bookshelf with all my favorite fandom swag. And as you can see behind me here, I would like to talk about a game that I know I've talked about before already, but of course, this is going to be a different part of the game. This part of Final Fantasy VII is a spoiler, I guess. It's the ending for Final Fantasy VII, so spoiler alert. I've also talked to my good friend Paul, so thank you, Paul, who also grew up with the Final Fantasy series from the 90s, like myself, and arguably he knows more about Final Fantasy VII than I do for sure. Um, but he also has a lot of great insight on it. So thank you, Paul, for helping me with the script for this video. Um, for Final Fantasy VII, the original, the last scene I'm going to talk about is the fight with Sephiroth and Cloud. And if you don't know it, it's just the showdown. It's the final showdown, essentially, between these two characters who have been fighting each other for several years. And it's the build up to all this tension, to all this pain, really. And what makes it stand out to me, especially when I was a kid in the 90s, there's this mechanic called a limit break. And if you know it, of course, you know it. But just real quick, it's a special ability essentially. When your character gets hit, it builds up over time, and as you get hit more, you reach the limit break, and you can do a special move that ends up usually killing the enemy, but at least severely damaging them with just a powerful attack. But what makes this kind of land for me at the end here is it's the first time that at least I saw as a kid where a game mechanic really felt like I was being brought into the character's emotions, in this case, Cloud's. Because when you see this scene, Cloud is one on one with Sephiroth. There's no other characters around him. All of his party's gone, and it's just him and Sephiroth facing each other. And as he looks at him and they stare each other down, you just see his limit break slowly climb up. And when Cloud reaches his limit break, of course, does the final attack. And if you earned it, it's Omni Slash. If not, it's another attack. But it looks so much cooler if you did Omni Slash, and it just wow, it just blew me away. I mean, as a kid, I just saw the limit break go up, and for me, it really meant all the emotions, all the pain, all the suffering that Cloud went through, because you only get that limit break when you get hit, when you get hurt. And so just by Cloud standing there, looking at Sephiroth face to face, and the limit break going up, it really showed that he was feeling pain and definitely anger when he saw him. So it just was like such a classic moment for me that brought that scene to the iconic status it has now, at least for me. And I want to bring that up because it really did teach me a lot about how, one, not only a game can really make a player feel what the character's feeling, but it also showed how much Cloud really had to suffer emotionally. And we're gonna get back to that in a second. I want to also talk about the remake. And I mean, there's a lot of mixed reviews. I mean, you can go on and on about things, and even me included. I have some problems with the remake, of course, and I'm going to talk about one of those problems. But ultimately, I do like it. It's not me, slamming on the game or anything. It's a very fun series. I love Kingdom Hearts. I love what the people who worked at Kingdom Hearts did with this game. But I also will say they didn't really carry that same weight of Final Fantasy VII's original with Sephiroth. I think one of the biggest mistakes they did, and my friend Paul had to remind me, I totally forgot about this. Apparently, you fight Sephiroth in the end of the first one. I sort of remember when he said it, but the fact that I couldn't remember it is a problem because you should not forget your fight with Sephiroth. I mean, that is just such a build up for the original. And so the fact that they put it and they kind of front loaded it in the first game, I really do think they missed the mark in, I guess, trying to include him more. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of reasons, but whatever the case may be, it took away his mystique. His mystique. It took away sort of his aura as a villain. Because I remember in the original Final Fantasy VII, it kind of builds his strength up, his legend up almost. Like, I remember that Serpent of Midgar being impaled by Sephiroth, and that was like when you were still kind of weak, so that snake would really just kill you instantly. So it just spoke of his power without even showing Sephiroth there. And of course, the more you go into the game, the more stories you have, memories, and you see Sephiroth's strength for yourself as you go. But it really did a good job of building that up for you. So when you face him in the original, you feel that kind of fear almost, and seeing that limit break build up kind of echoes that as well, and of course the anger Cloud has towards Sephiroth, and as a player, you even feel that in the famous scene, of course, also when he kills, spoiler alert, when he kills Aerith or Ares in the original, and you just get so pissed. At least I did when you're like, "That's my character. I didn't even get her final weapon. Her most powerful weapon before Sephiroth killed him." And I definitely think that was on purpose. So the original just had all these ways of making a game mechanic make you feel for these characters and really bring you into the story. And I know a lot of other games did that too at the time, but that was the first one that like really hit home for me. But this moment really shows him focusing all that emotion, all that anger, and harnessing it into his limit break. And I think that's what hit me the most was just how much growth Cloud has at this moment to harness all that pain and all that anger. And instead of letting it explode out everywhere, instead of letting it, get the better of him and unleash himself in a uncontrollable fury, he harnesses it into a limit break that just, obviously obliterates Sephiroth. And you feel all that anger just concentrated in that moment. And you see it too in the scene. And I just feel like that was just hard to replicate. I don't know how they can create that moment so powerfully, but that is the biggest takeaway I have from this scene. Just knowing how to harness your emotions, your anger, your fear, all in one, and just to let it build up inside you to the point where you can control it the way you want to. But that's all I really had to say. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you learned as much from the ending of Final Fantasy VII as I did. Take care.